Our planet has a
YouTube. We got ranking 7 of the most dangerous lakes in the world based on their wildlife. Let's check it out.
wide variety of giant lakes, and some of these waters are safer than others. A number of Earth's lakes are extremely dangerous due to temperature, toxic gases, and pollution, but other lakes are extremely deadly for a totally different reason. Instead of focusing on lakes that are deadly because they are toxic or because of temperature-related factors, I'll be focusing on lakes that are deadly because of the wildlife that inhabits them. Some of the world's deadliest predators can be found in freshwater and saltwater lakes, and I'll be going through just a few of them today. Without further ado, we can take a look at our first lake, and to find it, we'll be heading over to North America. Lake Okeechobee is the largest freshwater lake in Florida, and it covers around 1,900 square kilometers.
Yeah, there's definitely alligators.
Even though it's a giant lake, it's surprisingly shallow, with an average depth of around 2.7 meters. This is good news for its most famous resident, because as I'm sure many of you already know, this lake is full of alligators. The estimates for the number of alligators in this lake varies greatly, but most experts can agree that the true number lies between 20,000 and 30,000 alligators. Even though these scaly creatures can reach lengths of over 4.5 meters, they are rarely a threat to humans, and this is because they are usually focused on more conventional prey. Over the past 5 years, there have only been 9 fatal alligator attacks in the US, and this is despite the fact that there are an estimated 5 million alligators alive today. Even though fatal attacks are rare, they aren't non-existent, which is the main reason why this lake is on the list. You can also find large invasive species such as Burmese pythons in Lake Okeechobee, and even though they have
that one dude that be making those videos in the Florida Everglades, always trying to find that big Burmese python, has he ever found it? I gotta find out, bro.
Potential to claim the lives of humans. There has never been a fatal attack from a wild Burmese python in Florida. You could lose a finger or a few toes to snapping turtles, but in most cases these animals just want to be left alone, and they will usually only bite in self-defense. Lake Okeechobee is a very important ecosystem for many beautiful and endangered animals, and the only reason why it's on the list is because of the sheer number of beautiful and endangered animals. And the only reason why it's on the list is because of the sheer number of alligators that call it home. The toxic algal blooms are known for being almost as dangerous as the alligators in this lake, so really you should think twice before swimming here, and Lake Okeechobee slots in at number 7.
I don't know, Lake Okeechobee sounds kind of cool.
is the largest freshwater lake in Southeast Asia, and it's known for being one of the most diverse and productive ecosystems in the world. It can be found in the Mekong River system in Cambodia, and over 1 million people rely on this lake for a source of food, for work, and for travel. If you sit on the banks of the Tonle Sap, it almost looks like an ocean, and just like an ocean, it's home to countless species of fish. Most of these fish are only dangerous if you eat them, such as the toxic freshwater pufferfish, but the stingrays are more of a threat.
I just knew pufferfish. I didn't know it was toxic salt. I just knew it was a pufferfish.
Fish can cause some very nasty leg wounds if they're stepped on, but the most dangerous animal in this lake is capable of claiming human lives. The Siamese crocodile is a medium-sized freshwater crocodile, and it's a species that usually goes under the radar. Even though they were once widespread, they are now extinct across 99% of their former range, and they're currently listed as critically endangered, with the Tonle Sap being one of their last remaining strongholds. The vast majority of these reptiles are found in captivity today, with only an estimated 200 to 400 individuals being found in the whole of Cambodia. Even though these crocs are rare and relatively docile, they can still be dangerous, but most attacks occur in captivity. If you go back in time, this lake would have ranked a lot higher on this list, as saltwater crocodiles and tigers were once found along its banks. Today, both of these predators are extinct in the area, and there are many more native animals that are under threat.
Hey man, save the Siamese
is shrinking
crocodiles.
and dying due to climate change and human activities such as dam building, and this puts all its wildlife and the people that rely on it at risk. It really is a shame that this lake isn't as biodiverse as it used to be, and today it's only fit for number 6. Lake Nicaragua is the largest freshwater lake in Central America, with an area of around 8,300 square kilometers. It's known for being an extremely beautiful lake with volcanoes surrounding it, and it's an extremely important and unique ecosystem.
That's such a cool view, though.
It has many freshwater fish and waterfowl that bring a splash of colour to its waters, but unlike almost all other freshwater lakes around the world, it also has a large number of saltwater species. Sawfish, tarpon, and sharks can be found in its waters.
I always wanted to see a swordfish,
they were believed to be endemic species.
I just don't believe they're real.
Initially,
I gotta see it.
Scientists thought that the sharks in the lake were unique to science, and they were first described as the Nicaragua sharks. But now it's believed that they are the more widely known bull sharks. This giant lake was once a bay, but over millions of years the water levels changed and the bay became a landlocked lake. This meant that some of the sharks and other saltwater creatures became trapped here, and surprisingly some of them have been able to adapt to freshwater conditions. Of course, it's a well-known fact that bull sharks can travel hundreds of miles up rivers, but this is one of the only freshwater lakes where they can be found in healthy numbers. For years it was believed that these creatures had no way of getting to and from the ocean, but this was eventually disproved in the late 1960s. This was when it was discovered that they could travel up the rapids of the San Juan River almost like salmon, and the journey from the sea
Bro, imagine you just see a fucking shark just like and just jump into the water up there,
takes around 7 to 11 days. This migratory behavior is just one of the many reasons why some people believe that bull sharks are the most interesting sharks in the world. But unfortunately, they are also one of the most dangerous sharks. Larger-sized bull sharks are likely responsible for the majority of near-shore shark attacks, but thankfully shark attacks are very rare in Lake Nicaragua. The fact that this lake is full of sharks is very well known today, but another factor that's often overlooked is its crocodile population. As well as looking out for sharks, you also need to keep your eyes peeled for the American crocodile, which is one of the largest reptiles in the world. Some specimens can measure over 6 meters in length, and they have claimed the lives of humans in the past.
19 feet, 19 foot long.
Football fans is they all talk like the players can actually hear.
A 19-foot long crocodile, bro. God.
Are one of the less aggressive giant crocs, and they mostly focus on catching fish and not humans. Despite this, Lake Nicaragua's waters are still a lot more dangerous than most other lakes due to possible shark and croc attacks, and for this reason, it slots in at number 5. The next inclusion on this list is a bit of an odd one, because it's a lake that's only been visited by a handful of people, and it doesn't even seem to have a name. This section is all based on a discovery back in January of 2021, where a team of scientists discovered more than 100 electric eels in a small lake next to the Erie River. Electric eels aren't true eels, as instead they are freshwater knife fish, and they have an interesting way of navigating their environment and catching their prey. Because many waters in their natural habitat are very murky and because their eyesight is very poor, they use a small electrical current to help them navigate their environment almost like a sonar. When they find their prey or when they're attacked, they are capable of shocking with 860 volts, and if you're shocked you can suffer from a heart attack, respiratory failure and drowning. The sheer number of electric eels in this small lake could mean that if you fell in, you could be shocked multiple times, and without help, this would almost certainly be fatal. Thankfully, in the wild, electric eel shocks are rare, and they mostly occur when they are caught in nets. The waters and banks of this small lake are also frequented by caiman and jaguars, and even though fatal attacks from these predators are rare, this adds to the danger of this small body of water. This scientific discovery was one of the first examples of electric eels working together to hunt, as before this they were thought to be solitary creatures. The fact that the eels in this lake are so densely packed together is the main reason why it's so deadly, and for this reason it slots in at number 4. Now, if I were to mention the saltwater crocodile in this video, then most people would naturally think of Australia. As I've covered many times on this channel before, even though Australia has a large number of saltwater crocodiles, fatal attacks on humans are still very rare. Australia only has a handful of lakes where large numbers of saltwater crocodiles can be found, but it's a different story in Indonesia. There are far more fatal croc attacks in Southeast Asia than there are in Australia, and one croc attack hotspot is Bangka Island. Strangely, there isn't one infamous lake on this island where the majority of attacks occur, as instead there are many smaller man-made lakes that are full of crocs, and these are the lakes that I'll be focusing on in this video. At first, it might seem strange to group lots of smaller lakes together and classify them as one lake for this video, but there are so many fatal croc attacks on this island, and they all happen in the abandoned tin mine lakes that litter the country. The tin mining industry on Banker Island is extremely immoral and dangerous, and it's caused significant environmental damage. Mangrove habitats on the island were cleared so that tin could be mined in the area, and these habitats were home to thousands of saltwater crocodiles. As they had nowhere else to go, they quickly moved into the tin mines, and this has now become one of the most dangerous crocodile attack hotspots in the world. Indonesia sees the most saltwater crocodile attacks in the world, with 1,000 attacks taking place between 2013 and 2023. And out of these 1,000 attacks, 450 were fatal. 90 of the fatal attacks occurred on Banker Island, and this is despite the fact that it has a relatively small population. Around 80% of the population on the island are tin miners, and this means that they regularly enter the deadly tin mine lakes. Locals often use the water to bathe and for other household uses, and this is where the saltwater crocodiles wait to ambush them. After an attack, the crocodiles are usually killed even though they are protected, and as there seems to be no end to the tin mining industry on the island, the attacks will likely become more frequent. If you group these deadly lakes together, then they easily slot in at number 3, and this problem is only going to get worse in the future. Padang Talau is an iconic lake in Ranthambore National Park, and it's known for its beauty and its cultural significance. This area is renowned for its large tiger population, and this is one of the reasons why it's so high up on this list. Unlike some other big cats, tigers are very fond of the water, and they will even hunt their natural prey in rivers and lakes. In the Sundarbans, they are known to attack people on small wooden boats, and they will chase and hunt deer that have entered the water. This means that if you were to take a dip in this lake, you could become tiger food. But these aren't the only predators to look out for in Padang Talau. Mugger crocodiles can be found over large areas of the Indian subcontinent, and they have a healthy population in Ranthambore National Park. These crocodilians are capable of reaching lengths of over 5 meters, and they are relatively aggressive compared to other crocodilians. They are the third most dangerous species to humans after the saltwater and Nile crocodiles, and around a third of attacks on humans are fatal. 2018 was a particularly bad year for mugger crocodile attacks, with around 18 people losing their lives on the Indian subcontinent. Indian pythons also regularly hunt and swim in these waters, and even though fatal attacks from these snakes are rare, they have happened in the past. As well as the predators, there are also plenty of dangerous insectivores and omnivores to look out for, such as the deadly sloth bears and the potentially dangerous Indian boars. All of these combined deadly threats means that Padang Talau slots in at number 2, but it's still one of the best places to spot Indian wildlife.
Number 1.
Lake Victoria is Africa's largest lake by surface area, with it spanning around 69,000 square kilometers. This giant body of water is shared by 3 different African countries: Kenya, Uganda, and Tanzania. This lake was famous for its countless numbers of endemic cichlid species, but thanks to invasive species such as the Nile perch, the native fish are much harder to find nowadays. Thankfully, the giant Nile perch is not a threat to humans, but Lake Victoria has plenty of animals that are. In Africa's freshwaters, there are 2 species that really stand out because of how deadly they are. And these 2 animals are the hippo and the Nile crocodile. Even though Nile crocodiles are slightly smaller than saltwater crocodiles, they are responsible for more human fatalities. And there have been a large number of infamous man-eaters over the years. Fatal attacks do occur on the banks of Lake Victoria, and this is only exacerbated by the fact that their native prey is a lot rarer. I
said in the other video, bro, they are brave for getting in that water, because I wouldn't.
If having the deadliest crocodilian in the world wasn't enough, this lake is also home to one of Africa's deadliest mammals. Famously, hippos claim the lives of more humans than most of Africa's large predators, and they tend to be more aggressive in the water. If they don't kill you directly, then they can kill you by capsizing boats, and as Lake Victoria is crucial for the lives of most of the people who live on its banks, attacks on humans are unfortunately common. The presence of the hippo and the Nile crocodile mean that Lake Victoria is the deadliest lake in the world, and it's not a good idea to go for a paddle in its unforgiving waters.
Damn.
Of course, the last few entries in this video could have all been African lakes as they are the most dangerous.
Bro, these animal videos, bro, I like them, bro. I actually really like them, bro. But you know what it is? Till next time.